Hey guys, this is Rich Boy J back again with another video, and this one is a little bit different. I thought that it'd be a really cool thing to kind of have a show where we discuss Lego Star Wars topics and different things in the news, maybe some mocks here or there, and that's basically what this show is going to be. So I'm here with my good friend Garrett.
Hey guys.
He knows a few things about Lego Star Wars. He was the one who collaborated with me on the Scarif mock. And I'm glad to have you here, man. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, no, I've been wanting to do like a podcast for a while. Just talk about Lego and other nerd stuff. So should be fun.
That's all we do anyway. So we thought it'd make sense to
might as well film at this time.
Right, exactly. So I think the most obvious thing that we got to get into are the Millennium Falcon rumors. Now this has been a long time coming. Like we've been getting, is the Falcon going to come out? Probably for the past 5 or 6 years. Ever since people kind of realized, like, holy crap, I missed out when I didn't buy it the first time. And I think this is the first time we've obviously had hard, concrete proof. So it definitely does look like it's going to happen. But I guess my biggest question is, like, what do you think the Falcon's going to be like? Like, do you think that it'll have an interior? Do you think that it'll be based on, like, a particular movie or it'll span across all sagas? Like, what do you think they're going to do with that?
So I think, looks-wise, it's going to be an update of the old UCS Falcon.
Okay.
So there's not going to be an interior. Like, I think it would be cool if they did an interior, but like looking at like your UCS Falcon and how like much of a process it is to do a full interior on that scale is like even if they did charge a full $800 for it, I think it would just be too much. And like, because even a UCS set still has to be stable,
right?
And like. And your Falcon's pretty stable, but it's not like Lego set stable.
Right, yeah. I would not trust a 10-year-old kid with that thing. If for no other reason, then it's just really heavy. Like, I don't know what the heaviest Lego set is, but it's nowhere near that Falcon. I just can't imagine them making something that's that difficult to move. And you can really only hold my Falcon from, like, one place in the very middle of it. So making it to where has an interior and it's stable all the way around, that may be a little bit difficult. I do think they will have some sort of an interior. I think if, like, at the best case scenario, they're probably going to have the cockpit. I mean, I think that's kind of a given.
Yeah.
Maybe with 4 seats and, like, I guess the area right behind them where the hallway starts with maybe some panels or something as decoration. And then they'll also do the front, like, game room with a couch and maybe the chair where Han sits. And maybe even, like, the slot where, like, Rey and Finn are hiding in Episode 7. But that's kind of a long shot.
So just, like, one pull-away room. Like,
right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could see that. And, like, that would be a lot easier than doing a full interior. Because you have to have, like, all the stability and stuff. But, yeah, when the rumors were first going, I was, like, really on board with, like, oh, they're going to do an interior this time. But I thought the same thing when they were re-releasing the Death Star.
Right.
I thought the $100 price increase meant there was going to be, like, panels over it.
Right.
And then it came out, so.
Now we're getting a $300 price increase, maybe, and.
Potentially.
Could you imagine if they literally just re-released the old Falcon with updated figures? Like they did with the Death Star for $800. I mean, they could totally get away with it because people would buy it.
People would buy it. Because people were buying the old one for $5,000 new in box, a year ago, so.
If there's one silver lining to all of this, regardless of what the Falcon actually looks like, it will be a big Falcon, and that's a thing that means a lot to a lot of people, because a lot of people who display things, that's like the crown jewel. And then also they're starting to kind of push back at the resellers who are hoarding these sets and dumping them on the market the minute they retire and hoping to make some big profits off of it. And you can even see, like, with the Falcons that are on eBay right now, like, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone actually be able to sell one for, like, even $1,500.
Oh,
which a few years ago was crazy. Like, that'd be a steal for most people. But now people are like, okay, we're going to wait for this new release of a Falcon. And I think that's really good for the community. No one likes overpaying for children's toys. I know I don't.
No, yeah. I mean, whenever I buy my toys that are made for 10-year-olds, I like to spend a reasonable amount.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we can go right into this 14-karat gold C3PO. And this is kind of a timely topic because, one, the 14-karat gold C3PO came out for the 30th anniversary, and we're with the 40th anniversary. But there were only 5 of them ever made. And the kind of deal behind it was in 2007, Lego did a promotion where I think if you were 15 or under, you could write into them with your name, address, and some other information, and they would draw 5 people, and they would get a 14-karat gold C3PO. And this is probably one of the most valuable Lego minifigures that have ever been made. I think the most recent one sold for about $3,000. And one just recently popped up. There's one of the kids who got it is now trying to sell his, and I'm hearing that some of the bids are going up towards 10 and 20 grand for the figure. And I mean, it just sounds absolutely ridiculous thinking about it now. But how do you kind of feel about these like very special metal figures that Lego makes? Because they don't really do it anymore. Do you think it's a good or bad thing that they stopped?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never I kind of missed, like we were talking earlier. It was kind of like in both of our dark ages when they did that promotion, anyways. But like I've never been a fan. Even Comic-Con exclusives and stuff like that, that's, way to a lesser extent. But, when it comes to, super, super hardcore exclusive, you're only going to get this if you get extremely lucky type stuff, where immediately it means that people that get that, 50-50 shot are going to just resell it.
Right, exactly.
It does, in my opinion, it does more to, influence, the kind of reseller market and stuff.
Right,
than it does
exactly.
to, promote the brand.
Right, yeah, and because for them, I'm sure it's a win-win situation, because not only do you get a lot of people trying to get this thing, and you don't even have to produce as many as people want, but it generates buzz around the product, so I can kind of see why they would want to do it, but I think, like we were saying, for the community, I don't necessarily think it's a great thing, because it really does kind of encourage, the resale of the Lego for ridiculous prices.
Yeah.
And I think as a collector as well, they've been generally good about not having crucial minifigures be the really exclusive ones. Anything that you'd really want that would be necessary for your collection to complete a group of people, they haven't really done anything like that. It's mostly just been special variants on figures. So I can kind of live with that. But I think the point where I absolutely draw the line is if they, let's say an episode 7 Luke, if they just did that as the Comic-Con exclusive this year, or the Celebration exclusive. And we know he's going to come down the line, but if that's how they started it off, even though we've been waiting for an episode 7 Lego Luke since The Force Awakens in 2015, I think that's just unexcusable. I would really be angry with that.
Yeah, no. They're not going to, do that. I mean, they're obviously holding him back from the first wave of sets, but I think that's less of we're gonna hold him over your head so we can charge more for him, we'll put him in a different $150 set down the line. I think that's less that and more they really could just, there was nothing they could make a set of with him in it that was non-spoilery. Obviously because the only things we know of Luke so far is that he's on Octo training Rey or whatever, and I mean you could do an Octo set similar to the Takodana set,
right,
but those sets aren't fun. It needs to be a spaceship or something. So if Luke is ever on a spaceship or something, we haven't seen it yet, so they probably held back on that.
Right, yeah.
For those reasons.
And so then I guess that kind of brings us into the discussion on this is an anniversary year. This is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars A New Hope, which is a really big deal. Now, if we go back 10 years ago, that was actually when the Gold Carrot C-3PO came out. They also ran another promotion where they gave out 10,000 just gold-plated, gold chrome C-3PO minifigures, and those were in random sets, so you were pretty lucky if you found one of those. That was also the year the first UCS Falcon came out, which was the biggest Lego set that had ever been made at that time. And now, if you fast forward to 2017, it kind of seems like they haven't really promoted the 40th anniversary as big as they did back then. Back then, all the boxes were themed for 30th anniversary, and they had all these different promotions, and it doesn't seem like they're kind of giving that same kind of treatment so far this year in 2017. So how do you feel? Do you think it's necessary because Star Wars is kind of everywhere now, so it's not really necessary, or
yeah? Because I mean, if you compare now we're in the middle of a new trilogy, the Disney era of Star Wars. There's a new Star Wars movie coming out every year.
Right.
Whereas 10 years ago, what was the Clone Wars movie?
Yeah,
I think so. That time?
Yeah, it was the Clone Wars movie.
So it's they have to try hard. They have to try less hard now to push the Star Wars brand, because there's a new movie coming out in December. Right. That's what they have that. So that's why what I think of when I think of why they aren't putting 40th anniversary on anything. It's because they're gonna have Last Jedi on stuff, and that's
right.
On
I guess that's a good point too. It'd be weird if they had 2 different boxes both in the same year, everything up until The Last Jedi is 40th anniversary, and then at that moment it's just all The Last Jedi.
I could see them putting it on the Falcon box, the new UCS Falcon. If it does come out, they could do the UCS Star Wars seal, or the UCS seal, the gold Star Wars, and then a different 40th anniversary seal.
That would actually be pretty cool. But I guess it does. I kind of miss it though. like secret figures in boxes. And I mean, Lego Star Wars now is bigger than ever, so I can only imagine the frenzy that would be going on if they had special minifigures like that. It's been a very long time since we've gotten like a very special Star Wars minifigure. And like we didn't even get a May the 4th figure this year. Last year was the worst May the 4th figure they've ever done, and it's been some time. I think the last really good figure that we got in a polybag was probably the C-3PO, the Episode 7 one.
Yeah, that was a good figure, and that wasn't like a hard to get one either, really.
Right. Yeah. I thought like they could have totally gotten away with just making that the May the 4th figure for that year, and sure. It would have had such a better impact than that Stormtrooper with extra pockets.
Well, here's a question for you. Which one do you think is better, the most recent R2-D2 May the 4th polybag or the Stormtrooper polybag? Which one's better in your opinion?
I gotta go with the R2-D2, and I don't really like having to say that because I wasn't in love with that either. Like, I haven't even put mine together. It just kind of sits in a bag. But that at least, like, it fills a void, I guess. Like, we didn't really have anything like that before, and now we have that. Whereas with the Heavy Gunner guy, most people wouldn't even know that the guy with extra pockets is in the movie. I think he's only in a deleted scene. And it's not even correct because he's supposed to have a pauldron too. So that didn't really contribute anything to like one's Lego collection other than, oh, I have this new thing that Lego put out.
I have each variant of the Stormtroopers Lego has done. Yeah. I think I would still go with the Stormtrooper over the R2-D2 just because like to me like the May 4th polybag is like synonymous with like a new like exclusive minifigure.
Yeah.
And the R2-D2 like while I thought was neat, it just it didn't scratch my itch for like
right.
Like the Stormtrooper like as disappointing as that was because like remember when you and I were speculating we're like oh it's gonna be a Chrome Captain Phasma or
Chrome Phasma, Force Ghost Luke, a Force Ghost not Luke, I'm sorry, Force Ghost Obi-Wan, Episode 7 Luke, all this super cool stuff, and it seems they just keep coming with the letdowns. Yeah. If there's one thing I can say about Lego Star Wars as of recently, there have been a lot of letdowns. I don't think there's really been anything that has really gotten people excited, which is another reason I think the Falcon is really so special moving forward. Because, I mean, the Assault on Hoth, very negatively received. People did not care for that.
Yeah.
The new Death Star, very negatively received. People did not care for that. The Snowspeeder was a step in the right direction, but even that, it's one, a re-release, so it's not something, fresh. And two, I mean, it's, like, I think we kind of agree we prefer the minifig scale ships. For sure. And I mean, I guess that's not truly what UCS sets are for, but, they end up like conserving a better purpose in one's collection when they are minifig scale. You just can do so much more with them. So even that still kind of left more to be desired. And now it's like, okay, if we get the Falcon, that's really the only way they can come back. I don't think there's any other set they could release like that's like a ship that would really make people happy with kind of all the letdowns that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, no, the Falcon is like that's the most iconic Star Wars ship. Right. So, like, a UCS Millennium Falcon is, like, the ultimate kind of Lego Star Wars set, Because Lego and Star Wars are so synonymous with each other, it's kind of like, that's the ultimate.
That's the one that everyone needs. But one thing I also wanted to kind of talk to you about was the price. Now, people are saying it's probably going to be $800. Do you think there's any chance that can happen?
I mean... I guess it could go either way. It could go, it's $800, and it's the biggest Lego set ever, it's the most amount of pieces ever, so it obviously gets a lot of, like, traction because of that reason.
Right.
And also it's going to be, like, talked about in the news because it's an $800 Lego set.
Right. I mean, people will see $200 Lego sets in the store, and they're like, wow, Lego's gotten really expensive.
Wow, what loser would spend $200 on that? And
yeah.
Like, that's not even the biggest one in the store.
Yeah.
But, like... Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be $800 though, just because that's such a big leap. So like the most expensive was $500, the most recent Death Star.
$500.
So
yeah, that and the old Millennium Falcon.
So like jumping $300 from that, like is just too much. Like you have to like, Lego probably wants to be at a point eventually where they're selling $1,000 Lego sets. Of course,
I'm sure they'd love that.
You gotta take it one step at a time.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd say there's probably an 80% chance that it's going to be $800. Just because, I mean, we had the leaks, and I'm not really sure how to take that. because it could be something that they could change, or that could be something else entirely. We don't know, but I guess it just seems a little bit far fetched that there would be an $800 Lego set, because at the end of the day, these are children's toys, and even though this set is kind of for the collectors, Lego is still the primary audience is going to be children, and that's kind of how they price things. That's how they like to price things, unless you're the Last Jedi wave of sets. And that's a whole other story. We probably got to get into that at some point. But $800, that definitely that seems like a bit much.
Yeah.
And I guess speaking of The Last Jedi, we can kind of move into those sets that are coming out. So we've seen the leaks. We know what all the sets are going to look like.
We go through each set and just give it a rough opinion.
We can do that. Okay, so let's start with the greatest set of all time, the Resistance Pod.
You already have it.
Yeah, I got it right here. So guys, I got a neat little trick you can do. If you don't want to buy the Resistance Pod, don't. If you have this set, you already have it. You just pull that bad boy off right there.
Wow, I can't believe you already have a Last Jedi set. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Lego sent me this, and they're like, "Hey, Rich Boy, go ahead and drop a review on this thing." And I was like, "All right, I got you, fam." So yeah, guys, this is where it's at.
And can be yours for a measly $39.99.
I think it's either $39.99 or $29.99. $30.
That's a steal, if you ask me.
Yeah. So here's the thing, I guess they had to make some set with Finn and Rose, but at that point, and we haven't seen the movie, so maybe it makes total sense. Maybe that's the new Millennium Falcon of Star Wars. That could be the main ship throughout the movie. We don't know that.
Twilight.
Oh God, no. You know what's the new Twilight? The trash chute in episode 4.
Okay.
That's what the new Twilight is. I don't like the Twilight. But yeah, so that ship could have a very prominent role in the movie, but it just seems like such a lazy set. Have they ever done anything like that before, where they made a big version of a set and they released an escape pod? So I guess, technically we had the Tantive 4 and they released an escape pod set of that.
Yeah.
So I guess,
but it's it would be one thing. It's I'm fine with escape pod sets. I had someone I don't know if it was you asking me this or someone who was like, well, how do you feel about these escape pod sets? Which I guess is small dinky sets that you would just buy for minifigures.
Right.
And that one I don't care about buying escape pod sets. I actually think the escape pods look pretty cool. They're iconic with Star Wars, I think.
Right.
But that one, it just looks like. I'm pretty sure in the movie that's what it's gonna be. It's attached to one of the Resistance troop transports.
Yeah.
And then they have to jettison off of that or something, or maybe they're just made these are made from recycled B-wings. I think one of the books said.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just the same deal with those escape pods.
Right.
My problem is that it shouldn't be more than a $20 set.
Yeah.
If you're making an escape pod set with 2 minifigures.
Yeah.
That especially something that is part of what we've already gotten before,
right?
So soon, charging any more than $20 for that's just
right. And then
insulting.
The annoying thing is that it makes that set obsolete immediately, because now it's I need a bigger version of it to fit this new updated escape pod that I have. I honestly would have preferred if they had just done a re-release of the Resistance transport and then just had that be a part of it, and then maybe they can throw in some other Resistance figures, and then maybe we don't get the next set, the First Order Scout Walker, because oh boy,
someone on Boogaloo put it perfectly. They said this walker looks like it has trouble breathing.
Yeah.